Camila, bienvenida. Gracias por
Camilla, welcome.
acompañarnos.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for having me.
Muchas gracias.
Camilla, how do you find out that your husband, Alex Saab, was extradited to the United States? His sister called me, his sister Katia, that was with him, that could visit him for a few times. It was 2 p.m. and she called me saying that they had already taken him to the U.S. We had read the news on Twitter that a plane had landed 10 minutes before. In the time she arrived to the place where they had him, and she quickly called me saying they had taken him away. She didn't arrive on time to see him before the extradition. We felt that something was going on. That's why she went to the compound where he was and saw 2 police officers. And these 2 police officers told him that everything was fine. And so I told her, Katia, go back and ask him because it is important that you see him to know if he's okay. And then she went back and she saw her that 20 vans that were returning from the airport, 20 vans with armed military personnel. So they began to follow them. These 20 vans, when they stopped, she asked a police officer they know, Evora, his name was, where is Alex? And he said, we surrendered him. They expedite the extradition and Alex is gone. In that moment, do you know what happened? How was the process? How can we piece together the facts, which evidently is a violation of Cape Verde's laws, of international law, of international humanitarian rights, of the Vienna Convention? First of all, I will tell you how it all happened because I was able to speak with Alex around 5 minutes 2 days ago. Then I couldn't talk with him. In that call, he told me that over 20 police officers jumped in the house. It wasn't human. He didn't have time to put on his shoes, and they took him in under 2 minutes with violence. And he asked Evora, the same police officer, Evora, who was a corporal, that obviously he knew him because he was the one who kept watch on the house with 50 police officers. And Alex told him, you know, this is illegal. And Evora's answer, I know it is illegal, but they are taking you away. The police officer knew that was going on was illegal. It didn't matter. It was not illegal. Everything was illegal. The detention was illegal. From the first day, he was simply on a humanitarian mission. He landed in Cape Verde for refueling, and after 30 minutes, when the plane was not taking off for Iran, police officer entered the plane and told him forcefully, get off the plane, and they took him outside the plane. And at that point, we lost contact with Alex for 3 days. On June 12, 2020, we lost contact for 3 days. He was tortured during this period. They didn't give him water nor food during these 3 days. And they took him to a prison in São Vicente. The whole process wasn't human. They never respected international laws, nor his humanity. They hid all the evidence. Alex had all the documents that show he was on a humanitarian mission. They hid it. They denied him medical attention. They violated his human rights. They also didn't allow him to have access to his lawyers in the first days. Our lawyers, or international lawyers, tried to enter, but they deported them. They tried to enter, but were always deported. He never had access to his lawyers. He only had local access, who was Pinto Monteiro, but he never had access to his lawyers. After that, how much time did you have to wait to be able to speak with him? I always spoke with him through letters. Every day, I wrote 2 letters, one during the day and another during the night, and I gave it to the lawyers. They were the ones that sent the letters to the prison. Sometimes I didn't have any reply for 3 days, but I kept sending my letters twice a day to know how he was doing and give him all my support and love. Camila, all this difficult situation, all this psychological and physical torture that you're telling us about, did it take place during the whole time, 1 year and 3 months, with these inhuman characteristics that Alex was being treated with? The psychological torture never stopped. He has always been tortured psychologically for the first day in Cape Verde to the last day. The physical torture were at the beginning, and while he was in jail, the tortures were constant. They would enter at night. One day they cut his wrist. They pulled out 3 teeth. They entered at night, took away all his papers, what he read, the letters we sent, they stole them. So it was a constant violence. And the psychological too, because they had him outside where he was and never gave him the keys of any doors where he was, not even the bathroom or his bedroom. And on top of this, he had more than 50 guards. His sister told me that there were 50 police officers surrounding the house, keeping watch 24 hours, fully armed every day. And even when the sister was going to enter, she was always shocked because when entering and exiting, they patted her down completely. And also, the last day, it was awful. She was not even be able to bring food. They always say the food would sound the alarm. And they say there was something in the food, and they had to be analyzed. And even the bottles of water had to be analyzed. And until one day, that water is transparent, and it's absurd that water should be analyzed. So it was something constant. It is terrible, everything you are telling us. How was the family experience this ordeal? You, your children, the children from Alex's first marriage. We have seen in news, for example, that Alex's older children cannot even fly over U.S. space. How has this situation been? About the children, it's unbelievable, because this happened before Alex's detention, where he was sanctioned by FACA. They barely were even 18 years old. They had just finished high school. So it was absurd, because what are they guilty of? Also the father, what is he guilty of? My husband is innocent. And also to hurt him this way, that is the purpose, to hurt him by sanctioning his children, because they know, and everyone knows, how much Alex loves his children, his 5 children. The last time I saw him was on June 12th, and it was also the last time he saw his 2 daughters. The youngest one was only 5 months old. He has never seen her again. Now she's 1 year old and 9 months old. Sorry, it's okay. Did you send him pictures with the letters you sent? I sent him pictures at the beginning, but what hurt him the most was his children. He could not see the pictures. And his 4-year-old daughter, Maria Ambrose, that looks just like him, asks for his father every day. What do you say to her, Camila? She has 4 years old. She says she wants to go and see her dad. When we visit Cuba, she was hopeful to see her dad, because I stupidly told her we would. But in the end, we were not able to see him. And with Charlotte, who is a year and 9 months old, she doesn't know how her dad looks like, only by photograph. She has never been able to talk to him. And she even calls one of Alex's sons as her dad, because he looks so much like his father. But we suffer a lot. For us, time stood still. It did so since June 12th. We have not been able to move on. We are very close, but we haven't had peace of mind. Until he's back with us, we won't be able to be okay. We won't be able to rest. Camila, besides him, and also what you have been telling us about his sons, we can also see the media focus on your life, looking for information. They had invented stories. We are well aware how they operate. They impose their judgment beforehand. Are you prepared to take on this responsibility in this fight for Alex's release? I am prepared because I want to defend my husband. The media have walked all over us. They have told so many lies. And as my husband says, the media tells a lie so many times that it becomes the truth. It is the post-truth theme. I had always kept this in my mind, and it is true. The media has done this with him. They had told so many lies many times, and in the end, they had created a monster. But there are plenty of people supporting us. I keep my attention on them. I know that I'm not alone. They have shown me this. They do it constantly. And I don't want to listen to people saying bad things about my husband, because these are sick people. They just keep insulting us. I honestly don't wake up in the morning and I think to spending my day insulting people. I think about being my family, and I don't wish ill to anybody. This corroborates there's a strategy in the media against you. Camila, do you feel that Venezuela has your back, the different solidarity groups around the world? Very much. Venezuela is a wonderful country with amazing people, and I feel their support. They have been so caring with us. And being here in Venezuela, I feel very close to Alex. Are you staying here in Venezuela? Yes. You are staying here in Venezuela with the daughter? Yes. Very well, Camila. All this, and just asking you very briefly, from a legal point of view, the United States says there are more than 7 charges against Alex. Alex Saab, a Venezuelan diplomat, Venezuelan businessman, a Venezuelan envoy in charge to look for medicine, foods that are blocked by the United States blockade. In your opinion, what is Alex Saab's crime? First of all, instead of 8 accusations, there are just 2 in 1 accusations. In the end, there is just 1 charge, money laundering. This is the only charge, a false one, from the United States. My husband has committed no crime, no sin. He simply tried to help Venezuela with food and medicines at a time when Venezuela is suffering a blockade. Venezuela is being sanctioned. They are trying to bury the country, and the only thing my husband did was to help, to try and move forward from this blockade, from these sanctions, from this hatred. This hatred that, like you said, it is a strategy from the United States to destroy Venezuela. Yes. Last Sunday, you read the letter. According to what you said, and you received this letter before they extradite him to the United States. There is a fragment in the letter that he said that under any circumstances, no matter what they do to him, he won't change his mind about what he was doing here in Venezuela. Tell us about what you thought when you read this letter. I received that letter the day before he was kidnapped, the second time he was kidnapped. I received it because our lawyer received a threat from the United States saying that they were going to extradite him, and they did so. And to prevent this, that same day, that Saturday, the police have been very strange with Katia, Alex's sister. They even gave her breakfast, lunch. They let her spend more time with Alex, and it was very unusual. That's why we were suspicious. And that's why Alex left the letter. Because he knew that once in the United States, he will not receive a fair trial. And to prevent this, he left a letter, a statement, saying he remains true to his ideals, with his values, with the values his parents taught him. He won't change his mind because he loved Venezuela very much, his government, and he won't change his ideals. In the letter, he said he feared for his life, and anything can happen to him. He's already in the United States, in the middle of a justice system that does as his government tells them to do. What can be done to protect him, Camilla? We are organizing with the lawyers the visitation schedule. Right now, he is in quarantine for 10 days. He's in quarantine, and after these 10 days, his lawyers will be able to meet with him. We'll visit him once a week, and we will do everything to be able to see him, and especially to do everything possible to get him out of there, because this is not fair, this political persecution. His health state, Camilla, after information was released about his health condition, is being deteriorated. What do you know about his current health condition? His health state has been deteriorating rapidly, and they didn't allow him to receive medical attention during his imprisonment. Yes, it is a violation of his right. They never allow him to receive medical attention, never. These past few months, we requested an oncologist to check on him, to give him his medicines, but they never allowed access. On his blood test, they found disturbing numbers, but even then they didn't allow him to receive his medicines, to meet with his doctors. We are very worried because in the United States they won't allow this either, because they violate his right in Cape Verde and they will do it again in the United States. The medical attention is a delicate matter because it's the most important thing that they should provide, because Alex can keep surviving without medical attention. It is the least they can do because we are talking about a human being. He's a human being, yes. It is the least they can do, but evidently nothing is happening yet. Camilla, do you want to send a message to the world after this difficult situation, in the middle of this difficult situation? I want to send a message to Alex. I want to let him know he's not alone. You are not alone. And we will wait for you here in Venezuela, honey. We will wait for you here. Thank you very much, Camilla. Thank you.